grocery store.
I just don't see freshness.
Well, the St. Paul police, this is undoubtedly true. The closer you get to the country's tallest buildings anywhere in the country. St. Paul police have been called to the Rondo library 262 times since the first of the year.
I saw that.
How many times are they going to be called to a city grocery store where there's really something to steal?
Quadruple that amount, yes, for sure.
262 times. The Rondo Library, I believe, is at University in Dale.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful library. Very relatively new. They just built it a couple decades ago.
What?
Wait, what?
You know, it's not that
They
old.
just built it, or it was a couple decades ago?
Yeah, they did. It was I got it there.
So on Sunday, the library was closed. I was unaware that it had been open on Sundays, but it was closed due to the growing concern for safety expressed by the library, which said it would be reducing its hours due to what it's called ongoing challenges and resulting negative behavior.
Wow, what a bunch of words speak.
That's woke speak.
Right. Thank you,
Jeez,
Kenny.
just tell us the truth.
That's
challenges.
That's the root of our quality of life problems in the Twin Cities is behavior.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing else. It's behavior. This 11-year-old that was shot in Falwell Park at the outset of the story, we all made the presumption that he was an innocent 11-year-old kid who went over to the park to kick a soccer ball around or whatever, and maybe was hit by stray gunfire. And it turns out he was in a car brandishing a gun. And then, because behavior's so bad, there happened to be another car in the park full of gangsters who also had guns. So they returned the fire, and the 11-year-old has died. And there were some women who live around Falwell Park who were really saying the correct things. That we're not watching these kids. We don't know what they're up to. This is our responsibility. That's very late to the problem, but you are absolutely correct, ma'am. And it's behavior that's our problem. Kids wandering around smashing car windows.
Yeah.
Police called to the library 262 times, and we have a political class that's in denial of that and tends to use euphemisms rather than acknowledge it.
Well, look at their speak. These are bad people going into the library, doing bad stuff.
Let's analyze that, Joe.
Okay.
Because in my mind, it's public policy that has led to these things. The kid getting shot, the library, the naked guy in the Capitol.
Public policy in what sense? Lax law, lax punishment?
I don't know. Is it public policy that has led to this? Or is this just a general malaise that the country is going through? We no longer care.
I think it's a combination. I think there is an increase in just quality of life criminal behavior because you know you're not going to suffer any consequences for it. And so the last thing on some kid's mind when he wanders around breaking car windows is, I'm going to serve 5 years in jail, because he won't. We don't care. The political class has installed a group of people who think crime is the result of systematic oppression and discrimination, and it's part of the mystery. That's part of it. The other part of it is malignant idleness. The other part of it is the general malaise.
The other key word is discipline, and you just mentioned it, because that's the number one thing anybody that's ever been a parent realizes, that you can tell when kids have had good, structured discipline and those that haven't, that have been able to get away with whatever they want.
But show me one. Now, mothers around Falwell Park are coming to their senses. But name me one politician, name me just one, I don't care from which party, who has called this what it is. This is just feral youth behavior They're not being paid attention to by their parents. They're getting away with whatever they want to get away with. There's no discipline. There's no moral and ethical integrity. They're just getting away with whatever they want to do. That's the fault of the family and the parents. Name me one politician who's brought it up. From the president on, well, maybe he has.
I was going to just say it. President Trump has brought this
not
up.
counting him.
All right.
Name me one. Name me a senator. Name me a congressman. Name me anyone, a mayor, a city council member. Name me anyone. Now, I've used this story many times, and I'm going to offer it once more at the risk of being exhaustive. But, and I'll try to promise you that this is the last time I use it because I've used it so much. But I keep hearkening back to the day that one of these feral youth, who happened to be a girl, caused this disturbance in a phone store in St. Paul.
Lexington University, not far from.
Right. And she had been somewhat known for hanging out at a standard station that was across the street.
The BP.
BP that's now gone.
Yep.
So that's how we settled that problem of feral youth misbehaving at a gas station. We got rid of the gas station.
Yeah, see you later.
So the police are called. This young girl is in. I don't remember what she was doing. Could you look it up, Rook?
Yes.
St. Paul teenage girl creates disturbance in telephone store. I can't remember what disturbance she was causing, but it was enough for the telephone store to call the police. The police arrived. And instantly, the people who apparently are okay with this behavior instantly blamed the police, including the mayor. And I knew from that instant we were in trouble because he had the perfect chance to really do something important, and he completely blew it. He instantly wanted a police review of the behavior of the police. Subsequent to that demand, everyone who wanted to saw the video from inside the phone store. Could you help me here?
This is from Carol 11.
What year was this? 2017?
No, 2019.
2019.
October of 2019. 13-year-old girl in arrest, caught on camera, now charged with assault. But originally, I'll give you what, it was in a UPS store. Here comes Mayor Carter.
Oh, I thought it was a telephone store.
In a press conference Thursday, Carter said the community is owed an investigation because the incident captured on video raised concerns for many St. Paul residents. Carter said he understands why the video makes people uncomfortable. I don't think there's any one of us.
Nothing in that video should have made anyone uncomfortable.
Well, he went on to say, I don't think there's any one of us who ever wants to see a video of a young girl in a physical altercation interaction with the St. Paul police officer. He said, we don't know enough to be able to say much beyond that, except that it's disturbing and it's an image we don't want to see in our community.
And not once did Carter hold the girl responsible.
That is correct.
Not once.
The girl would not follow orders to put her hands behind her back on the floor of a UPS store.
And where Carter blew it, as I've said before, he should have appeared at the parents' house where the young girl lives and should have had a press conference saying, young lady, your behavior is unacceptable. The police acted just the way they were supposed to. You owe the police an apology. You owe the store an apology. This shall not pass in this city. You were wrong to behave that way. We don't get that anymore. We don't get that. He blew it, and I've resented it ever since because he had the greatest chance he could have ever been handed to really establish a real solid basis for his mayoral tenure. Mm-hmm. He really could have done some great work there. But his knee-jerk reaction was, this is terrible. Let's review the police audio and see how they behaved. BS, Mayor Carter. You had your chance. You blew it. I'll never expect it from you again because you'll never do it.
Well, and his reaction and the reactions of people in his position in both cities have led to, and you guys mentioned it, the BP closing. How many businesses have closed in the Twin Cities due to crime. Coffee shops, restaurants,
Well, Kenny,
downtown Minneapolis businesses.
Cub Foods at the same intersection of Hamlin and University.
That's the reaction. That's what happens. That's how they heal things. They drive the businesses out.
And you know what the reaction of the St. Paul City Council was? That's your fault, Cub, because you didn't do enough about shoplifting, which is so disingenuous because the City Council would be the first group of women to cry racism and discrimination if Cub Foods actually cracked down on the shoplifting.
Yep.
They would be the first ones to complain.
Yep.
The
They're
mayor
getting-
would be the first ones to let's see the police documentation. There's no character in the people we elect. That's another huge problem. They have no character.
Well, piling on in that story that we just referenced, Nikema Levy Armstrong said the arrest of the girl who was black was disgusting treatment by 2 male officers. And-
No, it wasn't.
Right.
We all saw the video. No, it was not.
Police were investigating a report of juveniles trying to enter vehicles when they encountered the girl. Officers were already looking for her after a report she was violating a trespassing order by going into a BP gas station that she'd been banned from.
Right. She had been banned from the gas station because she did nothing but cause disturbance there.
Correct.
You brought it up a couple of weeks ago, and I think it's happening more in St. Paul than Minneapolis. It's the Detroit effect. I mean, the plywood's going up. The businesses are shutting down.
Carter, you are presiding over a mess, and so is the least diverse city council in America. You are presiding over a mess of your creation. You had a chance to really put a dent in that with this case back in 2019, and you didn't. You acted politically, knee-jerk reaction to who you believe is your constituency, and you blew it.
And the girl's mother said in a news conference that her daughter struggles with mental illness. And
Let's
that
get the daughter
officers
some help then.
Should have known that when they approached her.
How would they know that?
She was already resisting. Nobody should be treated like that. It breaks my heart.
And the mayor and the council, instead of seeing what's happening and admitting that they made a mistake, they're doubling down and they're riding it into the ground. They're shutting St. Paul down is what they're doing.
And now the Rondo Library will increase the hours when it is unavailable to be opened. 262 police calls since the first of the year.
And why
Joe.
don't they realize that that's where the young kids in the Rondo neighborhood can go to read books about people that look like them?
You know what? We're 30 years past that, Matthew. That is not happening. I bet you could count on one hand the amount of kids that are taking advantage of that and doing that.
You know,
do
you're hung up on marrying the librarian who was in there with her hair in a bun telling kids to be quiet. I don't think that's the way it works
Well, it's
anymore.
not because they're letting these people come.
know
But
it.
I do know somebody that used to work in that neighborhood, and she saw this and said, you can't go to the Wendy's, you can't go to the library because of the clientele that's on those
Well,
four
let's
corners.
talk about that. The ongoing challenges and the resulting negative behavior. They won't elaborate on that. We can. It's the homeless, the drug abusers,
Yes.
the freaks, the criminals that are going in there and using the computers for porn. They're shooting up. They're having sex. They're leaving needles behind. It's every awful thing you can imagine, which is going on in the library and everywhere else in that neighborhood.
And it's the malignantly idle. It's feral youth. It's youth who apparently do not owe their whereabouts or their behavior to their parents. It's a complete embarrassment across the board.
Oddly enough, Kenny, are you sure you weren't referring to some of the parties that you went to in the
Do you
early
think
80s?
do you think it's fair to blame, like I see so often in social media, that it's fair just to solely blame the left? That's always the thing that conservatives do on social media when there's any kind of crime.
It's fair to the extent that we're governed only by the left.
Boy, that's a politician's answer. Joe,
Well,
John.
I don't know what else to tell you. We
Yeah.
are governed only by the left. And where the left is governed only, you're getting the Detroit factor.
Do we know if there was any follow to this? Because I've been trying to find any follow. They were going to have a review of the officers, et cetera.
Yes, there was.
And-
I remember it, John, and they were cleared.
Okay, and the mayor, we didn't mention this, but he was trying to play both sides of the aisle when all this happened.
Yeah.
Because he said, don't make any judgments about the teenage girl, and then he added, or the officers involved, until we know what happened.
No, those cops were
They were clear. Well,
patted on the back. They didn't do anything wrong. They used a remarkable patience and restraint.
Does he
we
even
played
live
the
in
video on the
Minnesota?
show 5 times.
Yep.
Where's the mayor live? Does he live in Maui?
I don't
where is
know.
he?
I don't know
Well,
where
you
he
can't
is.
find him at the courthouse. You know that.
Has anybody seen him?
The guy who